It is Friday morning. You wake up a little bit early because you can already taste the weekend. You are in a great mood. Your plan is to get to the office early, put your head down, and hopefully sneak out a little early so your Saturday can start today. You are rushing to work, flying down the highway, praying you aren't going to be late again so your supervisor doesn't breathe down your neck. But then, you hit a dead stop, a massive wall of traffic. You start panicking. You are trying to come up with an excuse for your excuse. You quickly text your manager, "Hey, bad accident on the highway. Going to be about 5 minutes late." And then your actual worst-case scenario happens. Your car stops, the check engine light flashes on, and smoke starts pouring out from under the hood. You are furious. Your entire day feels like it's collapsing on your face. You pull over to the shoulder, pop the hood, and your raw survival instincts kick in. You grab a water bottle from the back seat, pour whatever water you have into the coolant reservoir, and maybe even kick the tire out of pure frustration. And miraculously, the smoke clears. The engine cools down. It is still making a weird, terrifying rattling noise, but it turns back on. In that moment, you feel like an absolute mechanical genius. You make it to work. But here is the silent, stressful truth that you aren't telling your coworkers. You didn't drive away because you fixed it. You drove away because while you were standing on the side of the highway, you looked at your bank account and saw exactly $17.40 to your name. You literally cannot afford to take it to a mechanic right now. So you let it ride. You turn up the radio to drown out the rattle and you hope for the best. But because you delayed that $250 fix, the bill comes due at the worst possible time. 3 weeks later, you are driving to the most important presentation of your quarter. The car doesn't just smoke this time, it dies, completely, in the middle of an intersection. Now you have to get it towed. That is $200. The ignored problem just warped your engine block, making the repair $3,500. And because you were stranded, you missed the presentation. That initial inability to pay $250 just spiraled into a financial catastrophe. This is not bad luck. This is a mathematical trap. It is the distinct, measurable, and suffocating cost of not having money. Welcome back to Money Made Simple. I spend way too much time thinking about simplifying money and breaking down money to the simplest form. If you are someone who feels like you are working harder every single year, but your bank balance never seems to go up, hit that subscribe button. Because today we aren't talking about stocks, real estate, or getting rich quick. We are talking about why staying broke is actually the most expensive hobby you can have. There is this idea called the boots theory, and it explains why it is so hard to escape the bottom. Imagine two guys in the middle of winter. One guy has some money saved up, the other guy is completely broke. They both need work boots. The guy with money buys a really nice, heavy-duty pair of leather boots for $250. Those boots are going to last him 10 years. His feet will stay dry and he won't have to think about boots again for a while. The broke guy only has $50. So he goes to multiple stores trying to get a discount, wasting his time, and finally buys a pair of cheap, fake leather boots at a discount store. They look okay, but by the time winter is over, the soles are peeling off and his feet are soaking wet. The next year, he has to go buy another $50 pair. And the year after that. Over 10 years, the broke guy spends $500 on boots. That is double what the rich guy spent. And on top of spending double the money, his feet were wet the entire time. And he spent a lot of time researching just to get a discount. When you don't have money, the world forces you to buy the cheap boots. And you end up paying a massive penalty just for being poor. But let's take this out of the theory and put it into your daily life in 2026. Because this trap is everywhere. Think about going to the grocery store. You walk down the aisle and you need laundry detergent. If you have $25 in your pocket, you buy the massive jug that lasts for 6 months. Your cost per load of laundry is pennies. But if you only have $5 to your name, you can't buy the big jug. You buy the tiny travel size bottle. Your cost per load is 5 times higher. You're paying more for the exact same soap, just because you couldn't afford to buy it all at once. Or think about your health. You feel a little ache in your back tooth. You know you should go to the dentist, but a checkup and a filling is $150. You don't have $150? You have groceries to buy and an electric bill that is past due. You chew on the other side of your mouth. You take some pain medicine. 6 months later, you wake up in the middle of the night crying in pain. That little cavity is now an infected tooth. You have to go to the emergency dentist. Now you need a root canal and the bill is $1,500. Because you couldn't afford a $150 inconvenience, you are now drowning in $1,500 of medical debt. And the system isn't designed to help you when this happens. In fact, the system is designed to kick you while you are down. Let's talk about the bank. If you have $20,000 in your bank high-yield account, the bank loves you. They give you a free 3.5% interest back. That's an extra $700. They give you cash back if you have checking rewards. But let's say it is 3 days before payday. You have exactly $12 in your account. You stop to get a sandwich on your lunch break for $9. But you forgot that a $5 subscription to a streaming app, your account goes into the negative by $2. Does the bank say, hey, no problem, we will cover this $2 until Friday? No, they hit you with a $38 overdraft fee. You effectively just borrowed $2 for 3 days, and it cost you $38. If a guy on the street charged you that kind of interest, he would be arrested for extortion. But when a bank does it, it is just business. And people will say, well, you just shouldn't spend money you don't have. You should budget better. But that completely ignores how the human brain actually works. There is a psychological condition called the scarcity mindset. When you are constantly stressed about survival, when you don't know how rent is getting paid, your functional IQ actually drops. It drops by the equivalent of losing an entire night of sleep. When you are that stressed, you physically lose the ability to make good, long-term decisions. You are just trying to survive the next 24 hours. That is why broke people sometimes make decisions that look stupid to outsiders. They buy the lottery ticket, they take the payday loan, they eat the fast food instead of cooking. It is not because they are dumb. It is because their brain is so overloaded with panic that they just want to feel normal or find a quick escape for 1 single minute. And the craziest part? Being broke doesn't just steal your money. If you have money and you need clean clothes, you walk into your laundry room, throw your clothes in the washer, and walk away. If you're broke and renting a tiny apartment with no machines, you have to pack up all your heavy bags, load up your car, or walk to your apartment laundromat, and wait. You have to sit in those hard plastic chairs for 2 hours waiting for your clothes to dry so nobody steals them. That is 2 hours of your life gone. 2 hours you couldn't use to sleep, or play with your kids, or learn a new skill that could actually get you a better job. You are paying a tax with your actual lifespan. Everything is harder. Everything takes longer. Every single day feels like you are walking through thick mud, while wealthy people get to drive by in a golf cart. So how do you fix it? This sounds depressing, and honestly it is. But you have to stare at the ugly math if you want to beat it. You have to stop the bleeding. Most financial advice tells you to invest. They say, put your money in the S&P 500. But if you are broke, the stock market is not your savior. Your first goal is to escape the poverty premium. If you have credit card debt charging you 25% interest, paying that off is a guaranteed 25% return on your money. But the real secret, the only way to actually break the cycle, is to artificially force a period in your life where you don't buy anything extra. You cut everything until it hurts, just so you can save up your first $2,500. Why $2,500? Because it is your shield. And when you have $2,500 in the bank, the check engine light is just an annoying $250 fix. It doesn't become a $3,500 catastrophe. When you have $2,500, you can buy the bulk groceries and lower your monthly food bill. You can fix the toothache before it becomes a root canal. That first chunk of money is the hardest money you will ever save in your entire life. The wind will be in your face. But once you have it, the game completely changes. You switch from playing defense to playing offense. When you start making decisions based on total cost instead of just surviving the day, you stop being a victim to the system. You stop paying the bank's overdraft fees. You stop buying the cheap boots. You buy your future freedom. It is not fair. It is going to take you 10 times as much effort to get out of the hole as it takes someone else to just stay rich. But you can do it. You have to get angry at the math and use that anger to build your buffer. If this video made you realize that you've been paying the poor tax, if that car story sounded way too familiar to you, do me a huge favor. Hit the like button and share this video with a friend who is currently walking in the cheap boots. We need to talk about this more. We need to expose the traps so we can all stop falling into them. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. Subscribe to Money Made Simple, and I will see you in the next one.